Hello everybody and welcome to another chat with me, Matt Goddard, former professional boxer, now boxing coach and owner at The Boxing Locker. And today I want to talk about Anthony Joshua becoming the next Oliver McCall.
And once again, he's not returning to his own corner. Could you imagine being Georgie Benton, his trainer, in complete disbelief? A new twist to the plot. Oliver McCall is now crying. Let's listen in.
Don't do it to yourself. Hey, listen to me. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself, man.
Oh, it's horrible to say. As you can see from my wall of superheroes around me, some of my favourite fighters, AJ is on the wall. He's achieved incredible things in the sport and deserves great plaudits for it. However, I believe that he is set for a psychological breakdown at some point in the near future. I really hope it doesn't happen, but I think the man is he's struggling. He's got demons. What do I think has caused those demons? So I think the onset of those was the result of the first Andy Ruiz fight, the infamous knockout, the loss to Andy Ruiz. I think that created in him a fear, and not a fear of being knocked out, not a fear of being hurt, because he's a brave man, he's a strong man, and you don't step through those ropes if you're afraid of that. But no, a fear instead of the public perception of him changing. I think he's been a victim of immense popularity, and I say a victim because I don't think it's benefited him. I think the immense popularity for him has acted as a shield, a psychological shield that's meant that he's essentially been comforted and cushioned by the support of the public. I think that first Andy Ruiz loss, there was an immense amount of public backlash. The world of boxing and boxing fans is incredibly fickle, so fickle. People switch on you like that. 1 minute you're the best thing in the world, the next minute you are rubbish. You didn't deserve it, you got lucky, and any number of innumerable horrible things that they can say about you, because that's just the nature of people, especially in this social media world, where people can say what they want and get away with it without any kind of reprisals or repercussions. Now, why do I think he hasn't built on that since? I think what that did in him was it brought doubt into him. And then after that doubt, he made some changes in his camp. He thought that was the problem. He made some changes in his camp and it didn't work. He ended up boxing on the back foot, frightened the whole fight. Not legitimately frightened, but boxing in a manner that suggested he was afraid of being knocked out in the second Andy Ruiz fight. Credit where credit's due, he took the repeat as soon as he possibly could, and he won. Great. Now, first and foremost, what do we know about guys losing by knockout in the heavyweight division? Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is an excellent example of this. He lost to Hasim Rahman. What did he do? He went back and he knocked Hasim Rahman out in even more spectacular fashion than Rahman had done against him. And I think that's the mark of a true champion. That's what you want as a champion. You want to be going out there and snatching that belt back and saying, that was mine all along. You got lucky. You don't deserve it. And AJ sort of went out with a real negative attitude. He boxed in a manner that suggested he was afraid of engaging, and you really can't afford to do that in a heavyweight environment. I think at the lighter weights you can perhaps get away with it, but what people want to see at heavyweights is devastating power, aggression, and a style that shows that you're dominant, you're in control, you're the boss. And we didn't see that. Then obviously we go on and we've got the Usyk losses. Now, I believe that these were even more devastating for Anthony Joshua, because I think Anthony Joshua felt that he wouldn't be outboxed against anyone at a world level. And Usyk comfortably outboxed him once, and then even better the second time, even more successfully, even with camp changes again for Anthony Joshua, you know. And when you look at guys and you see them jumping ship from trainer to trainer, changing every fight camp, I think it's really a demonstration of their lack of faith in themselves. Is they don't think they're capable of doing what they need to do, so they need different advice, they need different guidance. And when they do that, all they do is they further cement that self-doubt, and their new trainers don't have the time working with them to really reinforce their mental fortitude and give them a little bit of strength and give them a kind of the bolstering that they need to really be mentally strong. I think too many of these guys chop and change coaches, and they don't give that coach enough time to develop them, to work on the things they need to work on. What I mean by that is, say they go straight back into another world title fight. What should they be doing? What's my opinion on that? I think realistically their safest bet is to go there, have 2 to 3 warm-up fights with that trainer, get used to the trainer, and then look to reapproach a world title fight. And then once you've developed a relationship, once you've cemented a bond, once you know each other better, once that coach has had a chance to really augment every single aspect of your skill set with their own knowledge, then you can say, oh, it's down to the trainer, it's down to this, it's down to that. Now, why do I think Anthony Joshua is inbound for a psychological breakdown? I think the manner in which he's handled himself in public is negative. I think not from the perspective of being a negative person, because I find him very inspirational. I think he's a good role model, but more in the sense that he's doing things that suggest he isn't in control of his behavior. Post-fight press conferences and post-fight interviews talking about how he should have been fighting, what he should have been capable of doing, and what he wasn't, instilling doubt in his own performance, doubt in himself. His self-talk is very, very negative, and I think now he's in a place where in his mind he would be content to retire off the back of a Fury fight. I honestly believe that's why they want the Fury fight. I think he'll fight Fury, irrelevant the result, make probably £100 million, and then leave the sport of boxing for good. He's already discussing in interviews how nice it would be to kind of get out, how nice it would be to not have the responsibilities. Discussed in the past the pressure on somebody like him, on a fight like him, a gold medalist, on the world heavyweight champion, and I really don't think he has the mental fortitude to cope with it. And I think if he doesn't get that Fury fight and it ends up being a Wilder fight, I think Wilder just demolishes him, just destroys him. I think you can't afford to box Deontay Wilder afraid. And I don't mean afraid as in afraid of the man, I mean afraid of a result, okay? And I think that's what AJ is afraid of. He's afraid of no man. Don't get me wrong, I think that guy would fight anybody. And I have absolute 100% certainty that is the case. I think what he is afraid of is the result, and as I said earlier, how that will manipulate and change public perception of him. And I think he would need to exercise control, be physical, be dominant against Deontay Wilder to have success. And I don't think he's capable of doing that anymore. And I think Wilder would sit him on the end of a right hand that he would not wake from until the bell is gone. The Tyson Fury fight, I've always said that I think AJ has a good chance against Tyson Fury if he throws high volume of punches. He doesn't do that anymore, so now I think it's a comfortable win for Fury, and I think, as I said, you'd see him lose, set sail into the wind, and probably live in Dubai with all his immense wealth that he's done incredible things to achieve, and just be a great ambassador for the sport, which I don't hate him for, but what I do hate seeing is this kind of psychological weakness that I think he's exercising and that he's demonstrating, and I think it's gonna end in a real negative outcome, sadly. And I think we might even see, as I said at the start, something Oliver McCall-esque when he boxed Lennox Lewis and crumbled in the ring and was crying, and God only knows what happened on that day. So yeah, there we have it, guys. I think a poor performance from Andy Joshua, lackluster, unimpressive. He boxed afraid, again, not afraid of Jermaine Franklin, but afraid of a negative result that would then influence public opinion of him. And I think that's really his problem. I think he cares far too much about that, and I think it's impacted him far too deeply on a psychological basis for him to ever kind of recover now. Without, again, taking that time out with a coach, spending a year working with a coach, have a couple of fights under the coach, and then trying again. But, I mean, the man has done incredible things. Things in boxing that 99.999% of the globe are never, ever going to be able to emulate. So he deserves great plaudits for that. And, You can see he's on my wall. I'm a big fan. I like the guy, and I like him as a man he is. I think he's done good things for boxing, and he's a big name. So credit where it's due, but let's see what happens next. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe, share, all them good things, and have a great day, everybody.